Hi, I'm Mark, this is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of the new SwitchBot Air Purifier Table. Now this product has only just come out, but I've actually been using it for a couple of weeks. And that's because SwitchBot very kindly reached out and offered to send it to me to review. Now I've been working with SwitchBot for quite a while and they're always up for honest reviews and never ask to know what I'm going to say before I say it. That means this video isn't sponsored, but I want to make sure you guys know that I haven't paid for the product. Now this product is going to cost about £300 at recommended retail price, but SwitchBot always have offers on. As a bare minimum, I've got a voucher code that will save you 10% below. I also always recommend checking out SwitchBot products on both SwitchBot's website and Amazon because prices do vary between the two and which is cheapest. I'll put links to both below. If you don't want the coffee table version, you can just get the air purifier without the coffee table top for £240. However, with the additional Qi charger and the coffee table top, I do think it's worth paying the extra, although this is going to depend on your use case for it. I will put a link to the version without the coffee table top below, and that is just called the air purifier. But let's get onto the spec of the air purifier coffee table. Now the top of it, as I said, is not just a table, but it also has a built-in Qi charger, which is great for charging your phone. It's also not just an air purifier, but a smart air purifier. That means you can use it with the SwitchBot app for controlling any of the features and also controlling some other features via Matter. The SwitchBot app gives you monitoring, it lets you set schedules and power levels, and it offers 3 different options. You can set power levels, but also set modes. That includes an auto option and a pet mode. It can also tell you the quality of air with a PM 2.5 measurement. Going deeper into the spec, this device can run as quiet as 20 decibels and can cover 365 degrees of purification. It can purify 236 cubic feet per minute. In addition to that, it can cover 20 meters squared in just 7.2 minutes. This makes it pretty powerful and it can absorb pet hair and also odours. This makes it especially useful if you've got pets, especially if those are indoor cats. Now the filter that comes with it will last for around 4,300 hours of operating use. When you do need a replacement, that's going to cost you about £35. But again, always check between Amazon and SwitchBot's websites because prices do vary. I'll put links to both for the spare filters below as well. And of course the app will remind you when this needs changing. Now that included filter has 3 parts to it. It has a pre-filtration area which is used for catching pet hair. It has a HEPA filter for bacteria. And then it also has a carbon filter for catching odours. That means it can capture 99.7% of microparticles, 99.01% of cat allergens, and then 99.9% of pet bacteria. SwitchBot also say it can capture 93.45% of hair. When it comes to cleaning this part, you can just vacuum off the hair, but you can also rinse it. Just make sure it's dry before you put it back in. There's instructions on how to do this in the SwitchBot app. In auto mode, it can also adjust airflow based on your environment. This helps it analyse the room around you and put it on a higher power mode when that's needed and put it on a lower power mode when it's not needed. This helps reduce the running costs of this device. It also has a built-in fragrance box if you want to add something like an essential oil in and add a bit of an aroma. This isn't something I've tested. One other feature to talk about is the ambient light that's built in. Now you can set this to show a colour of your choice based on some presets in the app, or you can set it to show a colour based on the air quality. There's 3 brightness settings and you can turn it off as well. And then that charger on top is a Qi 1 charger. That means it supports up to 15 watts fast charging for Android devices and 7.5 watts charging for Apple devices. And then finally we should talk about safety. So to keep pets and people safe, SwitchBot have implemented a few different things. Firstly, they've made that table board waterproof. In the app, there's a child lock mode if you want to disable those buttons. They've also created a chew-proof wire which doesn't leak electricity. This is more useful if you've got pets who do chew cables. And then finally, they have added a safety grille to that filter. And this is all really important to note when you're looking at this product if you've got pets or children in your house. And the last thing to mention is that SwitchBot are soon adding native Matter support. That's because this device does have built-in Wi-Fi, so it can natively run as a Matter device. Now because this isn't released yet, this isn't something I've tried. If you want to add Matter support straight away, you can do this by adding this device to a SwitchBot hub. So if you've got a SwitchBot Hub 2 or a Hub Mini with Matter support, you can go into those and add this device there. It will then appear in your Matter compatible app of choice. So for me, that's Apple Home. Now at the moment, all this exposes is a switch. That means you can turn this on or off and monitor its status. When Matter support does come properly to this, it will also expose air quality to Apple Home. Those are the only 2 features that are going to be available though because of Apple's limitations with Apple Home and the things it can support. This is useful because you can tie this into other home automations. For example, maybe when the last person leaves, you want to make sure it switches off. So let's move on from spec and talk about the design. So the design of this is really in 2 parts. Firstly, you've got the body of the air purifier, which is round and largely white. The front has a removable cover for replacing the filter, and the rear has the power cord. At the top, you'll find buttons for controlling some settings. That includes the mode it's in, how powerful it is, and also on/off. And then you've got the second part, the top of it. And this starts with a dome shape, which is where the light is found on this device, and then you've got the table section. That table is an oval shape with a nice looking wood design and a built-in Qi charger. And in my opinion, this looks pretty good. It's a really modern looking device to have in your house. And in my opinion, it's this table part that actually makes sure it really does blend into your room. And of course, that's going to depend where you put it, but I've had it next to my sofa. So let's move on and talk about setup. So when it arrives, you're first going to need to get everything unboxed. You're going to want to remove all of the plastic covers from the filters and unbag the top. The only bit of assembly includes attaching the tabletop to the device itself. Now it's done by twisting on and then adding a couple of screws, and SwitchBot do include a screwdriver in a box as well. Now this is quite fiddly, so I recommend putting the device on its side and changing the side depending on which side you're putting the screw in. I also recommend actually using a magnetic screwdriver if you've got one, because it's much easier to get the screw into the right hole. And then once that's done, it's time to plug it in and head into the SwitchBot app. Here you'll hit plus, you'll find the air purifier table, and you'll follow the instructions on screen. As with every SwitchBot device, this is really easy. At this point, you might also want to head into one of your SwitchBot hubs and expose it to Matter if you want to. Of course, by the time you're watching this video, it might natively have Matter support, and you can just do this in the device settings. I'll mention below when that does go live, and I'll also make a short showing you guys that. Subscribe if you do want to see that. But once you've done that, you're done. And that leads us nicely to talk about using this. And as I said, I've been using it for the last couple of weeks, and for the most part, I've been using it with a schedule. So in the SwitchBot app, when you go into the air purifier, there is an option to set up schedules for this. That means a couple of times a day it turns on and goes into auto mode, and then a couple of times a day it turns off. Auto mode basically means it will get more intense if it needs to. For the most part, however, it does just run pretty quietly. What I will say in terms of noise is that to start with, you do notice that there is a bit of extra noise in your room. But actually having used this for a couple of weeks now, it's not something I even notice anymore, and it hasn't meant that I had to turn anything like the television up more. Likewise, in pet mode, it is a little bit louder, but still not loud enough to need to turn up the TV. In the SwitchBot app, you can see an overview of the current air quality and the current PM 2.5 rating. And this rating relates to partial matter. There's an explanation for it in the app. If you continue scrolling down, you can see the power button, you can see the level, and you can see different mode options as well. You can also see environmental data, schedules, delay, and then care and maintenance. Environmental data shows you the history, and you can browse this by day. Care and maintenance shows you how many hours are left until you need to replace the filter, and also how to clean the pre-filter, which you should be doing every 2 to 4 weeks. Clicking the cog in the top right gives you a few more options as well. Here you can turn on or off the child lock, turn on or off wireless charging, check Wi-Fi settings, expose it to third-party services like Siri shortcuts or Amazon Alexa, and also check the backlight and sound settings. In the backlight and sound settings, you can turn the device's audio on or off, so the beeps it makes when it turns on and off. You can also set the light to auto on and off, and auto basically turns it on when light in your room is lower. Then you can adjust things like brightness and choose the colour. There's a selection of colours you can choose from, or you can ask for the colour to reflect the air quality. This light is nice because it does just add a bit of ambience to your room. And in terms of using the air purifier functionality itself, I'd say it does a pretty good job. And kind of anecdotally, it does seem to reduce smell. This is best illustrated where one of the cats first uses the litter tray, although odours never stick around for long in a litter tray because I've got the 𝐾𝐸 M1, which is a smart litter bot. If you want to know more about that, I'll link the review to that below. One thing you will find is that this air purifier will help anyone coming into your house with allergies to pets. And then that table part is really useful as well. And for me, that's because I've had it next to my sofa, and being able to have a drink on there and easily charge my phone is so useful. But the question I ask in lots of reviews is, well, are there any downsides? And the main downside, in my opinion, is the cost of the replacement filters. At £35, they are more expensive than other filters for similar devices. But you will probably only replace this once a year. And that's it for downsides, so let's talk about the verdict. And what SwitchBot have done here is they've made an air purifier that works well, looks good, but also has some nice functional extras like the table function, the charger, and the light. And even though the option with the table and the charger is more expensive, I do think it's worth spending that extra on it. If you do want to pick one up, I'll put links to both versions below, and I'll put links to both versions on Amazon and SwitchBot's website. Those links will take you to Amazon or SwitchBot in whichever country you're in, and there's a voucher code for you to use on the SwitchBot site as well, which will save you 10%. Both of those links are affiliate links, so if you use one of those links, I'll get a very small cut of what you spend at no cost to yourself. That just helps this channel out because this isn't my full-time job. I don't get paid to make these reviews, and I never take sponsored videos because I want to remain impartial. If you've got any questions about this device, stick them below and I'll answer those for you because I'm going to keep on using this. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys again soon.